Morning, it's Christine Beadsworth, and I want to share with you part 5 of the Synchronized dance of the Issachar Company, and my sincere apologies that it's taken so long to post it. I want to end off the series on the Issachar Company by sharing what the Lord has shown me concerning the end-time manna. As I mentioned in the previous parts, I had seen a trail of manna which ended at the threshold, marking the division between the holy place and the Holy of Holies. We know from Hebrews 9:4 that the jar containing the remnant portion of manna from the wilderness journey was in the Holy of Holies, along with Aaron's rod which budded. Paul says here that these two items were actually in the ark, along with the 2 tablets. However, when King Solomon built his temple, it is clearly stated that the only thing in the ark by that time was the pair of tablets with the 10 commandments engraved on them. There is no historical or biblical record of any kind explaining what happened to the rod and the golden jar. Some have suggested that they were stolen by the Philistines when they took the ark captive. Whatever the truth is, I want to rather just look at this change in a prophetic way. In King Solomon's era, by the time the heavenly blueprints for the temple were brought into manifestation, only the Ark of the Covenant containing the stone record of the Sinai marriage covenant was placed in the Holy of Holies. This place represents the marriage covenant and the chamber prepared for consummation. The fact that no golden vessel or budding rod had a place there is an allusion to the fact that there is an era or season to come when the fullness of the blueprint would manifest in a temple not built with hands. At the appointed time, the bridegroom Melchizedek priest will bring his golden vessel bride into this chamber. This is a corporate vessel of honor, a company who have cleansed themselves and separated themselves unto holy service. A bondslave company, forged into a golden censer, whose belly is filled to the brim with fragrant, finely crushed incense, and her dwelling place from this time forth will be the glory realm, the realm of face to face. Remember I spoke of the sifting season that is upon us at this threshold. The rod which budded represents the one whom God chooses, after all the rods have lain before the Lord all night. You find that happening in Numbers 17, verse 5. A man's rod or staff represented his walk with God and the authority that he carried. In fact, in ancient times, they would engrave their life history on their staffs. What is written upon our rods, our journey with God, is being examined by the Lord in this threshold season. We are being weighed and measured, and some will be chosen and others rejected, just like the foolish virgins. In the season ahead, a company of Melchizedek priests will be released, carrying the rod of heavenly authority. They will come forth from his presence, from the speaking place, the Holy of Holies, and will minister from their storehouse of hidden manna. They are the ones who are wise, who shine like stars and lead many to righteousness. I have had a number of spiritual experiences where I am taken in a vision into the room in heaven where the manna is formed. I shared the first one in the book of End Time Light, which you can find the details for purchasing the ebook or the print book on my website, Fresh Oil Releases. And I'm going to include it here, this experience, for those who do not have the book. Then I will add new understanding that I've been given about the hidden manna brought out in the end times to nourish the bride. In chapter 5 of the book of End Time Light, it says this. Firstly, it quotes Psalm 78, verse 24 and 25. He rained down upon them manna to eat and gave them heaven's grain. Everyone ate the bread of the mighty. Men ate angels' food, and God sent them meat in abundance. Here is a record of a conversation and spiritual journey with my Father to teach me about the end-time manna he has in store for his overcomers. Firstly, he brought the following verse to mind, Revelation 2:17. He who is able to hear, let him heed what the Spirit says to the churches. To him who overcomes, I will give to eat of the manna that is hidden." Then the Father spoke to me. "Receive the grain I have for you, food for the mighty, to strengthen and uplift your vision. Be at peace about the process. I am bringing all forth in its due season. Do you want to see the manna stores where I keep the food of the mighty?" "Yes, Lord," I answered. So we went down the same passage we walked through before when seeing the Debar room. All these details are mentioned in the book. But this time we went around a bend and down a very steep section like a slide to the bottom. "Oh," I commented, "I thought the manna room would be up higher, not lower, Lord." "No," said the Father, "it is the granary, the deep well of wisdom, the unsearchable things of God. Not many come here." And I saw there was an unearthly light coming from the interior of the granary, and I remarked on it. "Yes, daughter, the manna is kept in the glory realm. It is the light of eternity, primal light, the atmosphere of heaven, which brings forth this manna." I looked around the corner, and there were piles of white, round, grain-like coriander seeds on the floor. The light was golden, like the laser beam that searched out those whose hearts were perfect towards him. And then I saw the 7 lamps which were described as being before the throne. And on this day they looked like ink bottles with paintbrushes in them, and they were receiving the appointed portions of glory light from the throne. It seemed like rainbow prism colors were being apportioned each ink bottle. The thought came to me that they were the light painters. I remember that the word photograph actually means to paint with light. And I know that the 7 spirits of God are going to be giving seeking saints internal images or pictures painted with the light which they received in this place. These visions will give great understanding and wisdom. And as I look at the piles of manna, they are growing without me seeing anything falling from above onto the pile. As if he could read my thoughts, the Father said, "Yes, daughter, the glory light brings forth manna continuously. It has substance." And I was granted to see within the molecules of glory light, and was amazed that there were musical notes and Hebrew letters. It is the glory light that causes new songs to come forth, and heavenly utterances are born from it. This light is sparkling and buzzing with life and moving continuously and creatively. So this must be the light that God spoke into the earth when it was without form and void. Then my attention was drawn to God's breath in the atmosphere, and not surprisingly, it had glory light in it. This is why Adam was filled with glory and light and life. I saw his dead body made of clay lying on the ground, and the breath of life was flowing into it, and he was transfigured and transformed into a light being standing on his feet. And a prayer flew out of my heart. I have borne the image of the earthly. I want to bear the image of the heavenly Lord. That's from 1 Corinthians 15, verse 49. The Spirit reminded me that the Hebrew word for apple also means breath. This is why the bride in Song of Songs cries, "Feed me with apples, for I am sick with love." Song of Songs 2, verse 5. She is asking the Lord to breathe upon her. Instantly my own heart joined in that cry, "Breathe on me, Lord. Let this breath, which is full of sparkling heavenly light, fill my earthen vessel. Under the apple tree, my beloved, raise me up, lift me higher, breathe upon me, Spirit of the living God, so I can look forth like the dawn as part of your mighty army on the mountains in the day of the Lord." Then faintly at first, but louder and louder, the old song, "The glory is here. I can feel its mighty power in this very atmosphere," reaches my ears. I don't know if you know it. It goes like this. "Oh, the glory is here. Yes, the glory is here. I can feel its mighty power in this very atmosphere. So whatever you may need, You just reach out and receive and say it's mine. I take it now. I heard many voices singing it together, and I wondered if they were angels or saints or both, and I closed my eyes and felt the weight of this glory, the warm golden glory light, thick like honey running through one's fingers, weighty like the golden oil that is suspended everywhere in this atmosphere of the manna room. Then later, the Lord gave me updates and downloads about the manna. In early 2020, the Father spoke to me. I want to show you why old manna won't work. He took me in a vision to the same manna room I had been before. I picked up one grain and held it in my palm. It was glowing and buzzing with life. I saw a clock face with the hands spinning hour after hour. And when 24 hours had passed, the grain of manna went dark and stopped moving. Life had left it. Why did that happen, Lord? I asked. Because my breath fills the manna of the day. When I change the time and the season, my breath imbues new manna, new revelation, fresh light for the new day. I was confused for a moment. But isn't the word everlasting and will never pass away? Oh yes, my daughter, what is written is written, but manna is different. Manna constitutes my current thoughts. These are undergirded by the word, but enlighten it in a whole new way. Fresh light for a fresh day. Have you tried taking yesterday's sunlight and storing it in a jar for the next day? Well, of course it wouldn't work, Lord. Exactly. My people endlessly study commentaries to gain understanding of the word. But that was light for that day, and for that hour in history. My written word is eternal, and a receptacle which nicely holds my breath of the current day, to give wisdom for the hour. How else could it be relevant for centuries? As long as what you hear glorifies me and makes you aware of your need for the cross, you can be sure it is my breath and not that of an impostor. I thought of some books which are treasured by believers generation after generation. Lord, what of Hannah Hurnard's book, Hind Feet in High Places, Pilgrim's Progress and other classics? Ah, they were written by those who came up higher and accessed heavenly places. Most Christian books are written from earthly realms. Now just sit here, bit daughter, the tuning fork must be imbued and bent just right. I saw a tuning fork being turned sideways and equipped like a bow, and the scripture about bending Judah as his bow and fitting it with Ephraim came to mind. I knew I was somehow being bent and turned by just sitting in the atmosphere of his resounding voice. In every generation, he said, I breathe words of life and power. This is my secret arsenal for my warring saints. Elisha did not walk in the footsteps of Elijah, repeating his exact actions. There were new battles to fight, new miracles to bring forth, new wisdom to speak. I am who I am, daughter, the God of the eternal present. I need sons and daughters who will look from where I see and speak what I currently say. Only those words have power to break the attack that is now being cooked up by the dark ones. Be filled with the spirit of might, my daughter. You have longed to taste it. The first portion is the words of your mouth. They become a sword that divides between soul and spirit, if you only say what I say. They are the manna of my present-day thoughts, poured from your golden vessel. Now I want you to sit in this place where the manna is formed, and let that light seep into every pore of your spirit. The understanding will manifest later. But first we must update you with the present light of the heavenly realm. You mean like an update on the computer? I asked. Yes, you cannot dispense the hidden manna when you have not been exposed to it yourself. Become saturated, daughter. Sit till it drips. Watch and hear the sound of primal light. glory light. Yes, it has a sound, but only those who are very still can hear it deep in their inner being. It is lower than a whisper. It is a hum. In your light we see light, I quoted out of Psalm 37 from memory. Exactly. There's so much oil in the air today, Father, I said. Yes, there is an extra portion for the waiting ones. The wait will seem longer than they thought it would be. Events which are cataclysmic are coming, daughter. Stay anchored in this place. Seek my thoughts on every matter. Do not take things at face value. The strong delusion is rolling through the ranks of my body now, trying to eclipse my light. They shall not succeed, but people will be shaken and forced to choose sides. I was reminded of the golden calf episode where there was a call for the priests to stand with Moses if they were for the Lord. And God carried on speaking. Families will be separated, hearts will be broken, lives will be lost. But you, my daughter, keep choosing me, keep choosing my plumb line, no matter what the cost. The time has come that you have read about many times. It's all written there for everyone to read, but they do not understand the trauma that comes with brother turning against brother. They do not understand the pain of the hidden dagger from a friend. Guard your heart, be circumspect. It will lessen the depth of the dagger's entry if you guard your heart and wear my shield of faith. You must be wounded in the house of your friends in order to qualify, you know. It is part of the job description. On another occasion, he spoke more concerning end-time events while I was sitting in the manna room. I have shared parts of this experience in other articles, but I want to include it in its entirety here, seeing as we're discussing end-time manna. As you see, daughter, things are unfolding rapidly now. They seek to speed up their agenda. They plan diabolical destruction in order to roll out their schemes. But all their machinations will do is reveal my jewels, hidden and buried, until the appointed time of unveiling. And before me I saw a tall, multi-story building disintegrate into ashes, and beneath it jewels set in place, but previously hidden, were suddenly revealed. And he said, and if they think the fires in Australia were hot, they have no concept of the fire which will sweep through my church. Words from Amos 5, verse 13 to 24 came to me. I'm not going to quote them now, but please take time to read Amos 5, verse 13 to 24. It's about the day of the Lord and judgment amongst God's people. Father said, global panic is imminent, but you, my daughter, remain stable and fixed under the shadow of the Almighty, whose power no foe can withstand. I will keep you in all your ways of obedience and service in my kingdom. But do not be found going your own way or doing your own thing in these days. Always consult me before you make a decision. Lean totally upon my wisdom at all times. Lord, has the day of the Lord already begun? I asked. This was in July, 22nd of July. It seems so chaotic, and there are already volcanoes going off, plagues sweeping the earth, crops failing, famine looming, weather bizarre. These seem to indicate the day is at hand. As you see, you are in the morning watch here for my kingdom, so the world and the ungodly are in the evening watch. There come 3 watches of dense darkness, daughter. You know this. We have spoken before. But always remember, the path of the righteous is like the light of dawn that grows brighter and brighter until the full light of day. Just keep searching your heart and ensuring you are counted among the righteous, especially in your thoughts. These count more than people realize. Men think the outward appearance of holiness is vital, but I look upon the heart and assign angels accordingly. Those who are continually unrighteous in their thoughts, who walk in hidden pride and selfish ambition, are not assigned angels to protect them, for they rely upon their own self-righteousness and do not acknowledge the need of my Son's blood to cleanse their inner chambers. They are content with a quick hand wash before eating at their infected banquets. As shall be seen in the days ahead, germs spread quickly. Never mind about not letting someone lay their hands upon your head hastily in church. Just receiving the breath of their lips and the words of their mouth gushing forth from impure hearts will infect in these days. If, and only if, your own heart and your own lips are not clean and covered with the blood daily. Men love to judge with their own inflated opinions who is worthy of their exalted association. They do not realize spiritual viruses abound, and yes, the deception infected gather together. But my unchanging word that divides between soul and spirit is always available to convict and cleanse those humble enough to acknowledge they have need of the work of the cross. The gate of sanctification is still lit up for quite some time after I have led my little remnant out of the sheepfold. This is a reference to the word he gave me called cleansing his river. It can be found on my Fresh Oil Releases blog. But it takes a great humbling of the heart, he continued, and an embracing of the word that pierces the heart before one can step through that consecration gate. Godly sorrow for sin is largely absent in my bride. She has let the shawl of spiritual pride gently fall on her shoulders, and she is unaware of its weight or presence, or the fact that it moves her into opposition to me. I show grace to the humble, always have, always will. I change not. That is your salvation in the days ahead. I am who I am, always. You can set your compass by my unchanging character. So, beloved remnant, make time in his presence your highest priority at this juncture. Let your storehouse be filled with the words of his lips as he downloads revelation life for the season we are in. I've been actually greatly blessed as I've reread what the Lord shared with me about the manna this morning in recording this message. It is good to put yourself in remembrance of things that the Lord has said, how we need reminding of his words of life. May he bless you. Amen.